Today in Mexico, families shattered by unimaginable bloodshed gathering for the first funerals for 9 Americans. Laid to rest, Donna Langford with her sons, 11-year-old Trevor and 2-year-old Rogan. Ronita Miller also killed trying to protect her 4 children, Howard 12, Crystal 10, and 8-month-old twins, Titus and Tiana. After a roadside ambush, their bodies left to burn inside the family SUV. A drug cartel spraying the vehicle with so many rounds of ammunition, the gas tank exploded. With Christina Langford Johnson set to be buried Saturday, her baby Faith was miraculously found alive in her bullet-riddled SUV. The funerals held under a military presence.
For the first time in almost 20 years, scientists have discovered a new strain of HIV. CNN Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta joins us now with that. That's a headline you don't like to hear.
Right, and I think that was the first concern a lot of people had. Is this some new mutated type of superbug of some sort? It's not. It doesn't really pose a new threat at all. It's interesting because they were able to find this, but this particular subtype now is part of a larger group of HIV viruses. I'll show you this graphic quickly here. You know, people think of HIV as one disease. It's actually several groups and then several types, and now a additional subtype up in the upper left, right corner there. That's the L subtype. But it's tested. The current testing will find it, so it's not a threat in that way, and the current treatment will treat it.
A combined air drill between South Korea and the U.S. will be held later this month, focused on maintaining defense readiness. But the exercise will be scaled back in a bid to avoid provoking North Korea.
The Pentagon has made its intentions clear on an issue that has been the talk of the town among defense circles in South Korea. The U.S. Vice Director of the Joint Staff Admiral William Burns said in a press briefing Thursday that the Allies' wintertime joint air drill will be held later in November. However, he stressed it will be on a smaller scale than the Vigilant Ace exercise, which was suspended last year to support diplomatic efforts to denuclearize North Korea. He didn't specify the number of personnel or aircraft that would participate, but said the upcoming drill is to maintain readiness while allowing U.S. diplomats room to continue negotiations with North Korea.
I'm at the campus of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, where scores of student protesters are now marching towards the president's office to deliver a note of demand to him to largely condemn the police action that has led to the death of Mr. Chow. Now remember, today is actually the second day of the graduation ceremony here at Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. Now the university itself has had to cancel the event this afternoon because of the protest action taken place. A lot still surrounding the death of Mr. Chow. Now the Hong Kong government has issued a statement to say that it deeply regrets and is sorrowful for the death of Mr. Chow, who fell from a public car park while a police dispersal action was taking place.
It's been 21 days of mass disturbances and demonstrations in Chile, and amid mounting criticism for not controlling the violence that often accompanies peaceful protests, President Sebastián Piñera addressed the nation with a series of measures.
We want to announce a public agenda to strengthen public order and better safeguard our citizens' security. We've lived days of tremendous violence, vandalism, and delinquency, provoked in most cases by groups of organized crime.
The 10-point plan includes outlawing barricades and the use of masks and other methods to disguise one's face, including and boosting the role of intelligence services and the use of helicopters during protests, among others.
Iraqi security forces shot live fire towards protesters as they tried to dismantle barricades blocking their way into Baghdad's Green Zone, home to government buildings and embassies. The crackdown by authorities against mostly unarmed protesters has killed more than 250 people since October 1st. The tens of thousands who have rallied across the country are mainly young, unemployed Iraqis. They're demanding an overhaul of the political system after decades of conflict, sanctions and corruption. Meanwhile, protesters once again blocked the port of Qasr on Thursday, just hours after work there had briefly resumed. For more than a week, demonstrators had blocked roads leading to the southern port, which receives the majority of the country's grain, vegetable oils and sugar.
Just this past Friday, this video shows tens of thousands of people again taking to the streets. They've been doing so now for 37 consecutive weeks, demanding an end to government corruption and to the imprisonment of opposition figures. More than 100 demonstrators have been arrested. Again, this is Algeria after clashes with police, and there is no end in sight since activists have rejected a peace offering to hold new presidential elections next month. More protests are expected tomorrow.
The head of Malaysian Human Rights Commission says a Cambodian opposition leader has been allowed to enter Malaysia and she can stay till next Tuesday, after which she will have to decide whether to go.
Immigration officials had detained Mu Sokwo upon her arrival in Kuala Lumpur last night. Self-exiled Cambodian opposition figures have been trying to return home. The Cambodian government opposes this and has sought support from regional neighbours to prevent this from happening.
And Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad said that there were plans to deport Mu Sokwo.
Our principle in ASEAN in particular and generally is that we don't interfere in the internal affairs of other countries.
I'm inside Montego Resorts in the north of Batam, where a wooden pier yesterday collapsed and injured 26 Singaporean tourists after they fell more than 2 meters into the sea below. Now the pier behind me has been cordoned off with a maintenance sign and yellow police tape. There are also wooden planks floating in the sea underneath the structure. I'm told that the pier is a popular photo-taking spot, strictly reserved for resort guests. There is a picturesque swing and a fishing area at the end of the pier. It is still business as usual at the resort, with guests milling about and a group playing team building games on the sand.